I walked with God since I was a child, but for some reason, I still found it difficult to hear the voice of God. Many are times that I went before God to pray and ask for His direction. But after every prayer, it still felt like my prayers just hit the wall. There was no response. It took a season of isolation for me to learn how to hear the voice of God. God does not speak loudly. He speaks in a small, gentle whisper. You notice that if your life is surrounded with too much noise, you might miss to hear Him. He might be speaking to you, but you just can't hear Him. If your life is too busy, such that your attention is always divided most of the time, you might as well not hear Him. If your mind is full of thoughts because of worries and the issues of life, you might as well find it difficult to hear the voice of God. Until that time, when you learn to calm your mind so that you have some kind of stillness inside of you, it's when you can now hear the voice of God. Isolation seasons usually are characterized by fear, anxiety, and just concerns about the issues of life. But these seasons are so important in that they help you learn how to quiet your mind and calm yourself down. Getting out of an isolation season takes learning how to be quiet inside, learning how to be still inside. During those times, your mind has so much thoughts, it has so much noise. You have to bring it to stillness. When you bring it to stillness, is when you can now hear the voice of God clearly. It is through stillness that you can hear God's gentle whisper, depending on whichever direction that God wants to take you. Usually you might not find clarity immediately, but it takes taking a step or a leap of faith. Yes, you have heard the gentle, small whisper, but for you to find out that it is surely God speaking, you need to take a step of faith and go take action, depending on what it is that God is telling you. And you do it trusting in God to lead you, to guide you, and knowing that just in case you make mistakes along the way, your integrity and your trust in God is going to sustain you. God's power and God's faithfulness is going to uphold you, that you will never be put to shame because you're walking in faith. You are living your life in a way that you are yielding to God's direction for your life. You are not just making decisions, but you have consulted God. You have been convinced that you have heard that still, gentle voice. You're taking action. And you're not just taking action, but you're taking action with God. You can be sure that as you move, you might make mistakes or things might not seem like it is God who has spoken to you. But in any decision you make, if you move with God, you can be sure He will uphold you. Elijah found himself in a season where he couldn't hear God quite clearly. He was afraid, he was depressed. He even ran away into the desert due to the threat that Queen Jezebel had made upon his life. I can imagine lots of racing thoughts in his mind. He was crying out unto God, saying that all the prophets of God had been killed and he is the only one left. That was what he was thinking. But it wasn't actually true. Sometimes things that pushes us into those seasons are actually not true. Even though we might have those that are real, but there are those cases where it is not the wholesome truth. It is partly true and partly not true. Yes, Elijah had seen some of the prophets of God being killed, but it wasn't the actual truth that all of them had been killed. But because he believed a lie, he became afraid and he ran away. He was depressed. Those are the circumstances that usually can push you into an isolation season, push you into the brink of feeling depressed and even wanting to give up in life. During those moments, you can't hear God clearly. Until that time when you can quiet your mind, calm down, it's when you can hear God speaking to you. When you pray, you can hear Him showing you the direction that you need to take. That is practically what usually happens to your life when you are in the season where your life is just too much noisy. But I can tell you that isolation seasons are usually the extremes. Things began getting better for Elijah at that point when he was able to calm himself down and fall asleep. It's when the angel of the Lord came to him, woke him up, gave him some food to strengthen him so that he can continue with the journey to his destination. His destination was on the mountain, and that is where God was going to reveal himself to him and speak to him. The angel of the Lord instructed him to go up Mount Horeb to stand in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord was about to pass by. And he did as instructed. At first, he had a powerful wind that came and shattered the rocks, but the Lord was not there. For the second time, he had an earthquake that came and shook everything on the mountain, but the Lord was not there. The third time, there was fire, and the Lord was not there. It was the fourth time that he heard a gentle, small whisper, and that was the voice of God. Many times it can be so difficult to hear the voice of God. Life has so much in terms of demands and responsibilities. Our attentions can be so divided. It reaches a time where it requires you to be intentional. When you really want to hear the voice of God about a particular thing, you might have so many things or so many responsibilities that require your attention. But there is that one particular one that you need to prioritize if you want clarity. It will force you to reorganize your life to create some kind of order. Quiet your chaos so that you can have that stillness that allows you to hear the voice of God. It is important for you that no matter how busy life is, or no matter how noisy life can be, where there is that particular thing that you really want to hear clarity about the voice of God, you need to intentionally create that environment of stillness to allow yourself to hear God. You can hear the voice of God, and you need to have faith to take action. Unless you have faith, you will not take action. You will doubt that voice. It will not come as God standing before you and speaking in a huge, loud voice, but it will come as a small, gentle whisper. It's only your faith that causes you to take action that will help you prove whether it is the voice of God. Maybe there is something that you have always wanted to do, maybe writing a book, maybe starting your own YouTube channel, or making a very important decision in your life, but you're confused and you need clarity from God. If you want to hear clarity from God, you need to reorganize your life a little bit. You need to get outside your chaos. Create a quiet and still environment to seek God, to pray about it, and be keen to hear what God is telling you to do. And once God has spoken, you need to take action. An action of faith that will help you prove that truly it is God's voice that is leading you in that direction. Otherwise, you will never know unless you take action. Unless you just say that, God, this is what I hear. I'm making a decision to move with it. I need your help. And where God is involved, you might make mistakes, yes, but I can assure you, He is still going to uphold you, and He is still going to make you stand firm. If you have watched this video up to this point, thank you so much. And in case you're new, my name is Charity Mugeni. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, just please take a second and push that subscription button and become part of this family. You can like the video, share, as well as leave your comment right down below in the comment section. God bless you. See you in the next one. Bye bye.